After publishing a somewhat guarded memoir over a decade ago, she has now written Leaving a Doll's House. This time, she doesn't hold back. Where her previous work tried to keep the personal private, here she revisits failed marriages and passionate affairs, most notably her 18-year relationship with Philip Roth, the novelist. I am very pleased to have her here on this broadcast. Welcome.
Thank you.
First off, because everybody knows, and this book has gotten so much attention, tell me about the reaction among men and women to know that you've been so candid about such a personal thing. It is about rejection, it is about love, it is about the most intimate relationships.
Yes, it is. Well, I've just come back from England where it's very different. There's no reaction from anybody about anything. I was quite astonished, actually. Here...
No reaction?
No, it's as though it hadn't
one more
happened.
Story
very
of
good
somebody
reviews.
Who had a bad marriage.
Yeah, people buying it and
Sure.
all that, and my intimate friends saying. But here it's very different. Women come up to me in the street, in the shops, and say, "Good for you, you fought back, you're a survivor, we're pleased for you." One woman today in tears saying, "What happened to you happened to me." I've had amazing letters from women saying that I echo their own, my mind's gone, experience.
Experience, sure.
Yeah.
And what is it you think that resonates with them?
I actually think the last part of the book and my describing what happened, what occurred with Philip Roth, and my trying to remake my life after such an enormous blow. And I would never pretend it was anything other than an enormous blow, because it was.
Why did you write it?
I wrote it, I think, for the reason that's now become very clear to me, because it's the first time I feel free of what happened. And I had to work through it. It's not only about him, as you know. It's a autobiography.
About other relationships and other
about my life. For my,
right,
you know, I was born until now.
Until today.
Until today. Trying to work through, really, how I reached the point I reached with Philip, what happened,
so
why
the book was a means of working through it. In other words, forcing yourself to come to grips with your experience.
I had to come to grips with it. I had to try to make sense of it because it didn't make sense. And I had to try to work out what my contribution was to a disaster, a domestic disaster, but nonetheless a disaster of that nature.
Did any training, any experience help you do that? Nothing.
No. I suppose the years, I've never been analyzed, but I've certainly been to a very good therapist and, you know, have done over the years, to more than one. I think that helps you to try, but I am by nature analytic, so it wouldn't have made any difference. I have to analyze what's happened. And the reason I couldn't make sense of this, and it was driving me crazy, is because there was no way to analyze it. In my thoughts, because it was so tempestuous, so such a vortex that I was drawn into, that I simply couldn't fathom what had happened in my relationship for it to go so dreadfully, brutally wrong at its very end.
And now you understand?
I'll never understand completely. The only person who understands that is Philip, and I doubt he does. But I understand more than I did.
And no amount of conversation between the two of you would come to any kind of...
Well, I think come to blows. No, I mean, no, I mean, there is no conversation.
Well, if it would come to blows, that says something about it.
That's a joke.
Well, but
a bad one.
But no, I suspect it suggests that if it would come to blows, meaning the intensity of it suggests how good it was at one time.
It was good. It was wonderful. Or it
had everything that you would want in terms of passion and love and
yes, it was
highest stimulation.
Much more than passion. After all, we were both in our mid-40s. I don't say that it's over. But it was much more a relationship of equals, people who loved the same things, solitude, to walk in the country, to read books, to discuss books. He helped me with my interpretations. I was there if he wanted to sound something out on me of his work. It was like that. It was absolutely closed and close relationship. I never thought it would change, except for the dreadful part that I put in my book quite openly about his relationship with my daughter and my daughter's relationship with him. That, of course, is something he may see very differently. I think he believed that my daughter and I closed him out, which we never meant to do.
That was the most astonishing thing for me to read.
I know, people have found it so. But I have been asked if I regret being so honest in the book, and I think perhaps I slightly regret having, not only that particular, it was so painful for me to write. I closed it out of my mind for years.
What's painful about it is the fact that you did it.
Yes.
You allowed it to take place.
Well, yeah.
That's what's painful, not what he did.
No, what I did.
That you stood there and let him
ask my daughter to leave, or tell my daughter to leave the house. Yes, I'm saying it is shameful, it's humiliating, it's hurtful, and I will regret it all my life, but I did it. And as I did it, it had to be included in my story.
You did it because, on balance, you thought, what?
It's very hard to know what I thought. I was emotionally so in such a turmoil and so fearful of losing the love of someone whom I valued more than, I don't say more than my daughter, I would never say that, but more than any relationship I had ever had in my life with a man. It's the first complete relationship I feel I had ever had. And it wasn't that I sacrificed my daughter. Frankly, my daughter in a year came back to the house, and she went to a hostel that was run by the Guildhall, but it was in a very unpleasant part of London, etc. I think I caused her great hurt.
Just for case people have not read all that's been written about this, what happened? Give me the sense of the time. And
what happened was that Philip Roth and I were then living in England. We'd been together only about a year. I think he had tried at first to be kind to my daughter and understanding of her. She was somewhat resentful because I'd had a very bad marriage, a brief and ridiculous marriage before, and she just thought I was bringing in another man into the house who she would not be happy with. That's an understatement. And he wrote me a letter saying, I can't go on living in the house if Anna remains. I'll not leave you. He was very clear. But the 6 months I spend in England, I cannot spend. The 6 months we spend together in Connecticut, I'll still be there for you. I was not cruel in that sense, but to place me between the two of them as I was placed. And
without any explanation other than your own understanding and assumption that it was because he felt like it was coming between you and him? I
suppose so. He just said he couldn't go on living like that. And I remember running to my friend who lived a street away and in tears and saying, my God, what am I going to do? And I really actually can't go into it, but I did tell Anna.
You can't go into it.
It's hard. I can, I suppose.
I mean,
I will. I'm about to do so. I called the Guildhall where she was studying. They had a hostel. I asked if it was possible for her to go there with a friend. She didn't go alone. Of course, a friend was living with her in our house. And I told her that that was the situation. And she left.
Hardest day of your life?
Yes, I would say without question. As I say, she did come back in a year, and we resumed our life, the three of us, but never comfortably in the house.
What is it, when you look back, how much do you think, on some sense of, I hate to quantify this, but do you now understand about what drove you apart?
Philip and I?
Yes.
No.
You just don't? Not very much?
I don't. It's very hard to understand. Only he, but I doubt he understands himself. I mean, really, less than a month before, he had given me a note saying, you're the dearest thing in the world to me. So it's very hard for me to understand, but I would say that it's possible that he had some kind of a breakdown, or whatever one wants to call it, and that somehow triggered something in his mind that turned him in 360, I hope is the right amount of degrees for completely.
180, maybe.
180, I'm very bad at numbers. But, you know, from the person he loved most in the world, the person he hated.
From positive to negative, from white to black.
Yes, from the person he loved most to the person he hated most. It was as simple as that, but it was very quick and very brutal.
And devastating.
Oh, yes. Yes. Absolutely.
And if you say in that circumstance, why? There's no answer?
There's no complete answer. There's no complete answer.
It's all these euphemisms that people use. Things have changed. I've changed. You've changed.
No, it was nothing like that.
No?
No. It was literally overnight. I came back from England. He was, I don't know what to call it, but he was depressed, let us say, minimal. He committed himself to Silver Hill Hospital. He asked me to visit him there, to bring him clothes and New York Times, and there was not a sign to me that what happened when I got into that room would happen. When I got there, he said, I want to finish this marriage. If Anna comes to this country to study singing, I said, she's 35, or she was at 33. I said, what? This is not a girl of 16. She's not going to bother us. She's coming, she's an opera singer, my daughter, to study with a particular teacher. And it's hard to explain, but singers do that. They'll go anywhere for the teacher. And this was a very brilliant teacher called Ruth Falcon, and she wanted to come here. He said, if Anna comes, I want to terminate this marriage. And there was a dreadful silence, and the doctor said, Philip, 17 years for, it was 3 months, I think, 17 years for 3 months. And I can say this because it's in my book. I said, he said, I'm so angry with you. And he was, I know, he was shaking. I said, why are you shaking? What is the matter with you? And he said, it's because I'm so angry with you. I said, which was perhaps an unfortunate question, and why are you so angry with me? And then there was this stream of hatred, which continued for 3 days. And that was the end of it, really. At some point I said, we had been together 15 years, and the last 3 years we were married, at my request. I said, but he didn't, he wanted to, well, he didn't, maybe he didn't want to, but he did. I said, why did you marry me? And he said, who knows? And that, for me, summed it all up. I have no idea what happened. He had said during our marriage, I've never been happier. I wish we could have married early when we had children.
And what do you hear from him about the book?
I don't hear from him about anything. And I don't hear any murmurs at all. I don't know if he's even read it. I know nothing. No, I know nothing. He doesn't...
You have mutual friends.
We have mutual friends, but they haven't seen him for quite a while. And the friends that are very close to Philip have been very kind to me, but I don't see them. I call them because I think it's not fair to them to put them in that position. But whatever it is, nobody has mentioned it, and my assumption is that he's not read it.
When you look at the marriage itself, and all that you went through within the marriage, both the ups and the downs, I mean, you knew what he was doing, you knew all about him at that time. Did you have any sense that the relationship had changed at all?
No, but that may have been that I was blind. I gathered...
Love is that way.
Love is that way, and I'm afraid rather naive in a way. If I love someone, I'm just
caught.
Caught. Yeah. But I think that there was also an entanglement with another woman who was
that's what I was getting
had been a mutual friend of ours,
yes.
And that I knew nothing about till actually I'd nearly finished the book, and I'm glad about that because it would have put a different cast on the book, you know, a different color, but I didn't. And when I say I found out recently at the end, that's the truth. Yeah. And from her.
From her?
From her. We spoke, yes.
And did you gain anything from that conversation?
I found out a lot.
But
whether I gained anything or not.
Well, okay, but gained an understanding. I mean, this is about
yes,
somehow,
even so,
this is about trying to make sense of your life.
I know it is. I wanted to gain an understanding. I was brutally hurt by everything
knowing that
she
you'd
said.
been betrayed, yeah.
Yes, but so had she been hurt by him. And so I don't think it did either of us any good. We were both very emotional, and we've not repeated it. but I think we, in a funny way, comforted each other. It's a very strange thing to say, I know. She's someone I'm very fond of. And, you know, you can't blame people for things they do. If they're carried away, or be glamoured, or in love. I'm sure she loved him, actually. You know, they do things they regret.
Was it beyond Philip Roth? Was it hard to write this? Was it, I mean,
Oh, no.
I mean, or were the rest of it, for the most part, a great journey of looking back at your life?
Yeah.
At an autobiography?
It was a great journey. It was wonderful for me. I needed a big project so that I was also acting, or whatever it is I do, or do all kinds of things. But I was also teaching some master classes and I did a film, I did television, I did 2 plays in this period at the ART in Cambridge.
Right.
But I had my book, and it was my big project, so that I always knew, frankly, that I had something. I didn't want to be alone. I didn't want to think about the past, except insofar as I could use it for my book, so that I always felt I was occupied, and not only occupied, but under a time limit. I had to finish it.
This writing this book was better than therapy for you.
Yeah, it was therapy for me.
It was therapy.
Yes.
Remember the moment you finished this?
Yes, I do, because, you know, like every writer, I think, you're not sure when it's finished or how you were going to finish it. But I do finish it with the dream of return to the domestic hearth, which I think is a dream that women have. It isn't so much a dream of going back to him. I know that isn't either possible, permissible, that it would be the last thing in the world. I think that it would be the last thing in the world I would want anymore.
You're not sure, though.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Oh, at this point, yes, 3 years, you know, and after all that had happened. There was a point where I thought, oh, he's going to wake up and say, oh, my God, what have I done? And turn back from possibly being Dr. Jekyll, whichever one it is, from Mr. Hyde to Dr. Jekyll. Didn't happen. It didn't happen. And, of course...
So at one point you just had to completely shut that door to any possibility that this...
It shut a long time ago. But anyway, to say how did I know when I finished the book, it was when I realized that this dream of return is something everybody has, not necessarily to the person, but to the life. I have no domestic life now. I'm a professional woman, I work, I have my friends. I have absolutely no domestic life whatsoever. I miss it. And it was that dream of return which I know is an impossibility. And that's why I say at the end, now I must get on with my life. You have to clean that away, because it isn't possible anymore.
For my family, Anna, Sheila, and John, and for my friends, Rachel and Raphael, Francine, and Cleve. Leaving a Doll's House, Claire Bloom. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Much success.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.